Hello, Junior 3. How are you all? I hope you are all doing great. Well, today's lesson is very yummy, just like this sandwich. Let's see the coming slides and know the relationship between the sandwich and today's lesson. Today's lesson is about writing a story. Writing a story. To write a story, the first thing to think of is the title. The story has to have a catchy title. It catches you. Do you remember the story that you studied before? In the first term, you studied Sleeping Beauty. This is a catchy title. It's short and catchy. Alice in Wonderland. It makes you think what's Wonderland and who is Alice and what is she doing in this Wonderland. The Clever Rabbit. It makes you ask yourself about, well, why is it clever, or can a clever be rabbit? Can a rabbit be clever? So the title that you choose for your story should be catchy. What are the other things that you should think of? Okay, number one, the time of the story. When did the story happen? When did the story happen? For example, you can say once upon a time or one day. This is a good beginning. You can mention a certain date if you want to write this date. Okay, so number one, never forget to write the time of the story. The time of the story. Number two is the place of the story. Where did the story happen? Where did the story happen? Maybe on the beach, in the park, kingdom, a castle. Any place that you choose is correct, but you have to mention a place in your story. For example, you studied Sleeping Beauty. Let's see if the time and place were mentioned or not. Once upon a time. Once upon a time is the timing of the story. When did the story happen? Once upon a time, there was a king and a queen who lived in a magic kingdom. They lived in a magic kingdom. The magic kingdom is the place of the story. So here is the time and the place and also the catchy title. Okay? So don't forget, we have to mention to say the time of the story and the place of the story. What else? Let's see. Mm, Number three, the characters of the story. Who are the main characters? Who are the people in the story? Maybe they are people, maybe they are animals, cartoon characters, cars, whoever. You can choose whoever to be your characters of your story. For the events of the story, what happened in the story? Okay, we can't say the time, the place, the characters, and it will be a story. No, what makes a story is what happens. What did the characters do in this place, or did they go out? Did they have any problems? How did they solve it? So this is the event story. Number five, the end of the story. We can say that, well, there was a king and a queen and they lived in uh, a big castle or a big kingdom, and they had a little girl and blah blah blah, and they wanted to have a little girl, and this is the end. No, where, what happened then, and what is the end of the story? The story should have an ending. How did the story end? And you say this, you say finally end the story. So let's remember together, what should we write in the story? How can we write a story? First, we should write the time, place, characters, events, and the end. So let's arrange all of these together and know the relationship of it to the sandwich. The first part of the sandwich, the first bread part, is the beginning of our story. You should write in it when, where, and who. When did the story happen? Where did the story happen? And who are the characters of the story? The middle part that is juicy, full of vegetables and meat or ham or burger if you want. Let's see, what do we write in this part? What happened, the events of the story, what happened in the story. And the last bread part is the end of the story. How did the story end? Now let's apply this. Once upon a time, this is the timing of the story, there was a magic kingdom. This is the place of the story. It was full of beautiful flowers and trees. There were a king and a queen. Those are the characters of the story living in this kingdom. They lived in a very big castle. They were very happy, but they only needed a baby. This is the first part, or the bread part that we said earlier in the sandwich. And of course, don't forget the catchy title. The event, the second paragraph. After 2 years, they had a beautiful baby daughter. They called her Rose. The bed fairy gave her a gift. On her 16th birthday, she will break her finger and she will die. The good fairy saved her. She told the king and the queen that she will not die. Okay, those are the events. What happened in the story? There was a fairy, and the evil fairy said that she would die when she is 16, but the good fairy said no, she will sleep for 100 years only, and then she will wake up. And these are the events of the story. What happened in the story? This is not enough, so we should have an ending. What is the end of the story? After 100 years, a brave young prince came to the palace. He searched for the princess and found that all the kingdom were sleeping. When he found her, he woke her up with a magic kiss. He explained everything about the spell to her. He asked to marry her, and she agreed. They lived happily ever after in the magic kingdom, and this is the ending of the story. Yes. Elements. Thank you.